All right, you ready? Here we go. Who's tougher, Sasha Lakovic or Roger Maxwell?
Sean O'Brien.
You know, as far as your coaching career goes, people don't know. Probably a lot of people don't know where you started. I happen to know because, you know, I was there during that time. But what was it like starting from being an assistant coach in the East Coast Hockey League and then becoming an NHL head coach?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a situation that it's something that I love to do. I picked up my family, my 4-month-old daughter, and $18,000 went down to Tallahassee to start my coaching career as an assistant coach. It was a passion of mine, something that I wanted to do when I got done playing, and then I worked my way from the ECHL to the American League, to the National Hockey League.
So obviously it wasn't a direct path. I mean, when you started, you knew you had a goal to coach at the highest level. But what are the things that happened along the way that you think made the difference so that you got your opportunity?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that you don't expect. Obviously in the business that we're in, sometimes you're hired to be fired. I mean,
right.
There's no question. That's a long road. You don't think you're going to get there. As a player, you want to play at the highest level, and as a coach, you want to coach obviously at the highest level. And I spent 3 years at the University of Maine. I signed a pro contract after my junior year. And then as you go along, and I was relieved from my duties as an NHL assistant in the Islanders, I think 6 years ago. And when you try to look around and get your thoughts together, you realize how important education is at that particular time. It was always something that I wanted to do, to go back and finish my degree, and it hasn't been until last year now that I enrolled at the University of Maine, and I've worked towards that, and hopefully by next May I will have my degree.
So you basically made it as far as you can. I mean, in hockey and coaching, in the world, you've become an NHL head coach. So when you were riding the bus, you didn't decide you were going to go back to school. You actually made it as far as you could, and then you chose to go back.
Yeah, you know what, I've always thought about it. Obviously, when I went to college, it was something, obviously, I went to Kent Prep School in Connecticut, a very good education. I was fortunate that my parents were able to do that for me. And then going to Maine, I wanted to finish that degree for my parents as well as myself. Never really had that opportunity. As you know how long it takes and the time consuming it is to coach at any level. You multitask and you learn a lot along the way, but when I get into coaching, obviously you want to make an impact on kids. And when my pro career is over, at some point, whether it's the prep school, high school, or college hockey, and I'm able to go back and do that, and I'm fortunate that somebody will give me that opportunity, you need a degree. And for you to coach at one of those institutions, education is very important, and I feel it's very important as well. And I try to explain to kids all the time that if they do leave early, make sure that you always keep that in the back of your mind, and when you do have free time, try to do a little as you can. And I tried to do that as I went, and tried to get a little bit of education, but I just couldn't find the time to do that. So now that my children are a little bit older, my daughter's a freshman obviously in college, and my son's going to be a junior next year in high school, so I have that time now, and I've really dedicated a lot of time. It's cost me a few dollars to do it along the way, but I can say I'm proud of the fact that I've worked my way back towards my degree, and like I said, hopefully next year I'll have it.
So for you, on both ends, your parents were important. They emphasized education, and that impacted you permanently. And now, what about now with your own kids? You said that your daughter where is she in school?
She's at the University of Maine, and my son is probably going to take the prep school route. And that's the thing. When you look back at what you've done, I don't want my kids to go through that. I want them to stay 4 years, get their degree.
Right.
And I've always tried to explain that to Adriana and Anthony that my route was a little bit different. I was fortunate to get a break, but it could have ended quick. And if it ended quickly, I didn't have that education. So I can't stress enough, how important education is, and it should be for sure. So like I said, if things go as planned, I will have it.
So do you think in the end, as an ex-player, and a current NHL coach who's been very successful, at the end of the day, you made the decision to get back and it finished because your own kids were now in a position where they might look to you to see what you valued?
I think that's obviously a percent of it. For sure. That you want them. Obviously, I've tried to do the best I can for both of them. academically and athletically for them, and I want them to look at Dad and say, you know, Dad's working hard, he's going back to school, and get a little chuckle along the way. But at the same time, I wanted to do it for myself as well. It's something that I wanted to do.
So are you going to take a class with her?
I took some midterm classes, and
You took what?
I took a few midterm classes, and she wasn't in my class. Thank God. But it was good to go back and see some of the professors that I had at Maine that are still there at the university, and take those classes, and you know, you do learn quite a bit. I was probably 25 plus credits away at the time, 30 credits away. So you know, when you don't think the time is there, you got to try to make time. You got to be disciplined in time management. And I've done that, and I've been fortunate to that the university has helped me too, and they will help the athlete, because there's a lot of guys, as you know, that leave early that turn professional. But I can't emphasize enough how important it is, and I think if you talk to more people just besides myself, they'll say the same thing about the education part of it.
Yeah. And last question, what are you studying?
Well, you know what? General studies, I'll get my degree in, but I've studied a lot of kinesiology along the way. It's something in my field. I had a dual major when I was there, business over to education, and it would have taken me a little bit longer. But the classes that I'm taking now are very intriguing to me. Obviously, it's something that I do with our players on a daily basis and try to learn a little bit, obviously, and I can relate to our training and strength and conditioning coach as we move forward.
Excellent. Appreciate it, and good luck this season.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for having me.